this year it's the last week of the regular season. So you've had a bye week very early in the season when maybe you didn't need one or want one when you were trying to build momentum. And this year you have a bye week the very last week of the season where that's kind of pointless in getting guys back. Having that bye week kind of thrown in there at the end of September, it like you said, could be taken as a blessing in disguise.
Yes, looking at our schedule that we got stacked up this week, or this year, I mean, we're playing Garden, then we were playing Butler, then it was Iowa Western, then it's Highland, then it's Iowa Central, then it's Hutch. I mean, it is boom, boom, nationally ranked teams all across the board, nonstop. Yep. So it's going to be a gauntlet.
Absolutely, and as the age-old saying goes, if you want to be the best, you got to beat the best. And, of course, we'll talk much more about this matchup coming up with Iowa Western here in just a little bit. But let's step away for just a couple of minutes. And, Coach, coming up we have a couple of your guys that are going to be joining the show. Who do we have in this week?
We have 3 guys, Brady Braun, our punter, Baru Hasabu, our safety, and Eric Lane, our lineman.
Sounds great. Well, let's take a 3-minute timeout. When we come back, we'll hear from both of the guys, and we'll hear from 2 of the 3, I should say. The last one will come back with you here for the final segment of the show. Only have 3 headsets, unfortunately. But let's step away for 3 minutes. We'll have much more here on the Red Raven Coaches Show when we come back on US 98 and the Red Raven Sports Network. You're an Indy guy, right?
Yeah, I'm from Indiana.
I'm from Cincinnati, so not too
Okay,
far
yeah.
away.
I was in Indianapolis. I was on the east side, so.
Okay. Like Noblesville area?
Yeah, Fishers.
Okay. One of my best friends is from Noblesville.
Oh, okay. I have family that live and go to Noblesville.
Red Raven Coaches Show here on US 98. I'm Shay Neal, and we're happy you're with us here at Wendy's in downtown Coffeyville. And we're now joined by a couple guys on the team, the punter Brady Braun and the one of the safeties, Buru Kasabu. And guys, thanks so much for being here. How you doing?
Thank you for having us. Great.
Yeah, doing great.
Absolutely. And we talked to Coach Delaware a little bit about it, but a little bit of a weird weekend for you guys. You get all the way out there to El Dorado, ready to play your rivals, and game doesn't end up happening. But at the end of the day, probably not complaining too much about a bye week, getting getting healthy a little bit, taking a couple of days to kind of clear the mind, and now get ready for Iowa Western coming up this weekend.
I know it was a long travel out there and started warm-ups and everything, got half warm-ups in, and then suddenly we're canceling the game.
Yeah, it just, all that energy, ready to play the game, and just kind of sucked,
They didn't. Like you said, they didn't waste any time. It went straight from this game is delayed to this game is over in about 10 minutes.
Yeah, we had called for Group 1 to go out, and 5 minutes later we were taking our pads off calling it.
Well, I want to start off with, this is where we're going to go back to the Garden game. But Brady, one of the things that me and Matt Jordan just absolutely loved up in the box, you didn't get many opportunities to shine in the first 2 weeks of the season. And I'm sure you're not complaining about that because when you're not out on the field, the offense is scoring points.
Yeah, usually, that is how that works.
But you get to show off the boot against Garden City a little bit. You pin a couple punts down inside the 10, and that's impressive, obviously. But what I'm impressed with was the celebrations. We saw the McAfee strut. We saw you stop and do the golf swing. I mean, first of all, what goes into your mind when you're doing those celebrations? And two, you had to be pumped to bring those out, first game of the year.
The first one, I think I hit the ball, and I was kind of surprised that he even caught it. So when he caught it and started running, and I saw everybody tackle, I think I was just so surprised it even happened that I lost myself and started running down the sideline. I don't even remember who made the tackle, but I went straight to Kev. I was like, we just pinned him inside the 5. We did great there. And then on the swing, I was just like, all right, the ball's inside the 10. Not much better you can ask for. It's a perfect chip shot in that situation.
Absolutely. And something else that happened in that Garden game, of course, one of your punts ended up down at about the 2-yard line, and then the defense ended up getting a safety a couple plays later. That has to, obviously pinning a punt down inside the 10, inside the 5 already feels good. But when you see the defense and those 11 guys go out there and get the safety, get 2 points, it's almost like you put those 2 points on the board.
I never get to actually score, and I'm never solely responsible for any points unless we have something happen and I throw the ball somehow. But getting the 2 points there, it feels like I actually put points on the board even though I didn't make a tackle in any situation. I feel somewhat responsible.
I think you should feel somewhat responsible. Buruk, you're a guy, of course, that's returning from last year, a veteran of this program, if you will. But we talked a little bit earlier this season about the secondary being one of the more experienced groups on this defense, with, of course, you, with Kyler, with Jaden, and some of those other guys that, were on the team last year, no matter how much they played, but just knowing the ins and outs of the Jayhawk, knowing the ins and outs of Raven football. What have you learned from your first year here to this year about, growing as a leader and growing as a football player on the field?
I think as being a leader, I learned to just be there for everyone and, be patient because, not everything going to go your way the first 2 days forever, but don't panic. My coach likes to say that, don't panic. So I think that's a big thing.
I think a play that really stands out to me for the defense in the secondary especially, first play against Cisco, and I'm sure you as a safety, you don't want to talk about this, but the 75-yard deep shot, first play of the game. And after your defense didn't allow any points in the first game of the year, I was watching that game with a buddy of mine, and first play I was like, oh my. But after that, it felt like you got to have a quick memory to play DB, and it feels like everybody on this defense, but especially the secondary, has a quick memory. You maybe give up a third down conversion, or you give up a 20, 25-yard pass, but you don't let it kind of build. It feels like, at least through the first 3 games of the year, it feels like this defense, and I think maturity and leadership has a lot to do with this. But it feels like you guys are have very short memories and are able to go back out there, new play, new opportunity.
Yeah, for sure. Especially as a defensive player, it's important to have next play mentality. Everyone's gonna make plays, but it's just how you gonna react to the next one. So
we've talked to two guys in the secondary that are considered, captains of this football team, in Kyler and Jaden. What's it like working with them every day, their work ethic, what they bring to the football field, and, just playing alongside those two guys?
I mean, it's amazing. Honestly, probably two of my closest friends on the team. But seeing them work every day and just come out and lead the team, it's great. Makes my job easier.
And we have so many, talented freshmen on this team that are getting not just immediate playing time, but also making impacts right off the bat. We talked to Lonnie Burt last week. We have a couple of freshmen in the secondary. We have a couple of freshmen on the D line that rotate in. So, having guys like you, having guys like Kyler, having guys like Jaden, having guys like Elijah down on the D line, and some of these other guys that have been Fred Giles, guys that have been a part of this program. What is the kind of consensus between all the returners on the best way to get these first years ready to play Raven football? Because the Jayhawk, as you know, Baruch, it's a gauntlet every single week. We just talked to Coach Dover about next 5-6 teams you play are either nationally ranked or just outside the rankings. So what is the key to talking to an 18-year-old football player that has talent, but getting them ready for Jayhawk? Because that's very different from high school.
I think we emphasize working hard every day, coming to work, and just, as you said, next play mentality, because it's the KJCC. It's not easy. It's a hard league. So
great stuff. And we're joined here by Brady Braun and Brewer Kosobu. Guys, we're going to talk a little bit more in detail about Iowa Western coming up, but of course you get your shot at the defending national champions. But I know something that this team, something that Kyler talked about a little bit as well, is this team has just a confidence and a camaraderie about them that you guys feel good that you can go out there any Saturday against anyone. It doesn't matter what number is next to them. It doesn't matter where you're playing the game. You feel like you can stack up with everybody. What goes into that mentality where obviously, I think this team has the talent to hang with anybody in this league, anybody in the nation, but it's a big difference between, you thinking you can hang with anybody and truly feeling like you can hang with anybody, which is the vibe I've gotten from some other guys on this team.
I think it comes down to why not us? What makes them so much better than us? And we just want to go out there and play our style of ball, do everything we can, because there's no point in there's no reason to not go out there and believe that we can't do it.
Absolutely. Got one final question for both of you. Appreciate your time. We'll start with you, Brady, but this special teams unit obviously has shown some really great moments this year. Rowan obviously tying a school record with his 57-yard field goal. You pinning some punts down inside the 10. Good snaps, good holds as well for the most part this season. But obviously when you go up against not just Iowa Western this week, but Highland around the corner, Hutchinson around the corner, as well as Iowa Central, we're going to have a lot of close games coming up in the next month or so, and special teams are going to matter a whole lot. So what is the mindset when you get to game day about the special teams unit all being on the same page, because obviously that's crucial?
I think we look at it as we're going to play each of us probably a total of 5 plays a game, and since it really doesn't matter, we're not going one-on-one with anybody, we kind of just want to go out there and repeat the same thing we do every day in practice and each game. No, the opponent doesn't matter, because at the end of the day they aren't affecting us. So Kev just wants to throw the same ball every time, and I just want to hit the same punt, and we just want to put that field goal through, or the ball through the uprights each time. It doesn't matter what who the opponent is.
Absolutely. Brewer, last thing I have for you, Iowa Western, obviously a team that likes to throw it a little bit more than some other teams you've seen this year. Very talented quarterback, some good receivers as well. So you being a DB, this defense has been very strong for the whole season thus far, but you're going to be playing an offense that's very different from any other offense you've played so far. So what's the key to, obviously I don't think there's a world where you can stop the Iowa Western air attack, but at least making them uncomfortable and forcing them to have difficult throws throughout the course of the game?
I think we just need to eliminate the big plays and force them to do things they're not comfortable with, as in rallying to the ball, tackling, keep them behind the sticks. So
great stuff. Brewer Kosobu, Brady Braun, good enough to join us here on the Red Raven Coaches Show. Guys, thanks so much and best of luck on Saturday against the Reavers.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. show here on US 98 and the Red Raven Sports Network. I'm Shane Neal. So happy you're with us here on this Wednesday night. We're now rejoined by Coach Dobler and joined by starting left guard Eric Lang. Guys, thanks so much for being on the program, and we're excited to talk. Obviously, a big matchup coming up with Iowa Western. I know that, obviously, I don't know how it feels when you're a player or a coach on the team, but I have to imagine when you have all these big matchups back to back to back in all these weeks, it's probably nervous, but also very exciting to play all these top teams in the nation.
Yeah, we're going to see what we're made of, and you got to have prepare every week. I mean, like it's, a big-time game, which it is.
Absolutely. Coach, something you talked about earlier in the show, you talked about how the last couple times the Ravens have played Iowa Western, you've held your own pretty well. You had a lead in the fourth quarter last year. I know it's different players. It's different, a different way of lining up for probably each team. But what has been the key? Something I've really noticed is an Iowa Western offense that really loves to just rack up points. Coffeyville's defense has done a nice job of slowing them down on the offensive side of the ball, keeping them in the 20s rather than the 30s or 40s where they are a lot of times in the season. So what is it about, maybe changing the tempo or slowing down, the plays going up to the line of scrimmage that you can kind of keep Iowa Western off balance like you have in recent years?
It's hard. I really can't tell you all. Hey, this is why. It's just, we line up, we play sound, we got to play our style of football. Even offensively, we've been able to run the football a little bit both times. That's also the thing, and not turn it over. Play good, really good special teams. I mean, we've blocked some field goals last couple years on them. So special teams, offensively, defensively, we've just played our style of the ball, never hurt ourselves, and yeah, for whatever reason, I mean, it ain't easy. I can tell you that. Their offense is very, very tough. They do make it hard on you, and they score points, so it's going to be a challenge.
Well, and the back-to-back national championships reflects, obviously, how talented that football team is. But, Coach, we've talked numerous times this year about the experience you have in the back line of your defense. And now going up against a team that, to put it pretty basically, is going to throw the ball more than any team you've played so far this year. How important is it to have those guys that have those reps in college football in this Jayhawk conference? Guys like Kyler, guys like Buru, guys that have, seen this league for a year plus, because you're going to need, really talented secondary play, and you have some guys that you can really trust.
Yeah, they got a lot of Division I bounce back at quarterback and receivers this year. They went out and made an emphasis. Last couple years they've been running the ball pretty dang good and having quarterback run game. This year they said they're going to throw it. That's what I think and now they get to do what Coach Strohmeyer wants to do, I think. I think he's a kind of a pass, spread it around offensive coach, and they're very, very well coached. They scheme up well. So, yeah, it's going to be a different style of playing. We're going to need those back end guys to step up big time.
Eric, something that, the offensive line has done very well so far this year is winning at the line of scrimmage. This team's run the ball very well because you're able to create holes for Steven Robinson, for Trey Jones, and also, protect the quarterback. I mean, I believe I don't have the official sack total in front of me, but I believe it's only 6-7 sacks allowed so far on the year. So, going into a game like this where it's going to be a good game, it's going to be a physical battle, what is the focus for this offensive line unit to staying connected as a group and making sure you win at the line of scrimmage? Because that could very well be the difference between a win and a loss.
Really, it's just to stay together. Make no bad decisions, and play as one, no fighting, all come together because we are brothers, and that's really going to make the difference in the game.
And we've talked to a couple of your teammates, guys that played beside you, of course, with Devin Waller and Khalil Walker as well. What's it like playing with those guys and building a relationship with those guys? Because obviously, an offensive line isn't just 5 players. It's one line that doesn't, that has to protect the quarterback and create those holes.
Yeah, so it's like we're brothers, man. Like we all have the same mindset to get out of here and be the best. And that's really going to be a key difference to winning this Saturday.
Absolutely. Coach, one of the last things I have for you, unfortunately, we're running out of time here pretty quick tonight. But obviously we've talked about, this team, something that I think, really showed its head in the Garden City game. This team has, I don't want to say struggled, but has had a harder time, a more difficult time scoring points in second halves of games this year. Got off to a great start against Cisco. Now, I'm not going to count Wesleyan. He didn't play a second half. But got off to a great start against Cisco, and the offense took a step back in the second half. Now, part of that may have been, getting different guys some looks. But then, obviously, 23 in the first half against Garden, scoreless in the second half. So what has been the emphasis for you, for Coach Ortiz, for this offensive unit in 4 complete quarters of good offensive football?
Yeah, we talked about it last week, as a team in general. As a team, we have to do that. So It is an emphasis. I think we know it. Some of it's probably maybe conditioning. Some of it is play calling. Some of it is players' execution, not getting lazy. I think at the end of the day when you jump up on somebody and it's, we say it's easy in our mind. Ooh, this is easy. We got this. We get complacent. When it really wasn't easy, we just, did what we needed to do at a high level. And then when you get, you think it's easy, you bring that intensity level down a little bit, and then, all right, the other team has to step up and take their notch up, and it's hard to crank it back up again.
Last thing I have for you, Coach, and appreciate your time here tonight. I think the easy answer would be to say best game of the season for this team to go on the road and win this Saturday.
That would be amazing.
But
we have to have our best game of the year.
And that's where I was going with it. But if you had to draw up here your keys to the game, what this team has to execute to hang with the Reavers of Iowa Western, a team that not many teams across the nation can beat, what would be those 3 or 4 key focal points that you have to do to keep up with Iowa Western?
Defensively, we have to limit their big play. I mean, that's the big thing is with the pass game, all that. Limit the big play, and we need takeaways. Offensively, we got to control the ball. We got to run the football. Their defense does a really good job as far as trying to stop run, and that's what the focal point is. But we can still run the football. That's our mindset. That's what we have to go in and do. And, don't turn the ball over. And then we got to win something on special teams. Our special teams have to be a difference.
And this guy to your left is going to be a big part of, obviously, helping run the football and keeping that run defense at bay for the Reavers coming up here on Saturday. Guys, thank you so much. Appreciate your time. Best of luck against Iowa Western, and we're hopefully talking about a win coming up next Wednesday.
Yes, we got to make sure we give a shout out to Wendy's again.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's beautiful coming out here, and Eric Lane would not miss a free meal at Wendy's.
Absolutely not. We appreciate, of course, our guy Ulysses back in the studio as well. Appreciate our friends with RRSN for being here, helping us be on the air here on the YouTube channel as well. I'm Shane Neal saying so long. Red Ravens, Iowa Western Reavers coming up Saturday at 1 o'clock on US 98. We will have pregame beginning for you at 12:45. So 15 minutes before kickoff, we'll have pregame here on US 98 as we get ready for the Ravens and the back-to-back national champion Iowa Western Reavers. I'm Shane Neal saying so long tonight from Wendy's. Appreciate Coach and his players for joining us. And until next time, I'm Shane Neal saying so long. Back to the music here on US 98.